Welcome to the Nordic Stitches podcast. My name is Lily and I'm a Norwegian knitting designer. This is a podcast about yarn, knitting, crochet, embroidery, and spinning, but also about other things that I am passionate about in life. I love our planet, and doing what I can for our environment is something that influences my crafts in a very big way, and I talk about it on a regular basis. I'm also very passionate about human and animal rights. I always have been. I love my fellow human and I embrace diversity. No matter your background, you are welcome here. In real life, I curse like a sailor, and even though I try my best not to curse in my podcast, I'm not going to edit out any cursing that may occur because I don't believe in editing yourself. Now, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you'll stay with me throughout the episode. Everything I talk about is linked and included in the show notes below the video. Grab a good something to drink, something to craft on, and let's get this podcast started. Hello and welcome back to the Nordic Stitches podcast here on YouTube. This is podcast 2.0. If this is your first time visiting, you might want to check out a video here. Everything I talk about is linked down below, so make sure to check out the information box. Okay, so let's quickly recap the 3 knit-alongs that I was talking to you about last time. So there's the Clean Ocean Socks and Clean Ocean Shawl knit-along. That is 1 knit-along for 2 patterns we are raising money with, and I have already gone into detail about that, but I will touch upon it after I've talked more about the knit-alongs. So that's 1 knit-along. The second is Nordic Stitches box of socks, where you basically just knit a sock box using just my patterns. And then there's the Anything Goes Nordic Stitches Designs knit-alongs. So there's 3 knit-alongs for you to quadruple and multiple dip into as your heart can, what's the word? Oh, brain fart. Oh, shit. Let's just move on, shall we? The Clean Oceans shawl and socks. I released them July 1st, and they look like this. Well, this is the shawl, and I have a picture of the socks because I've gifted those away to my mama, who is not home. It's her lounge I'm podcasting from today. I talked in length about the yarns that I used and the design process and all that in the previous episode, so you might want to go check that out if you haven't already. This year, the funds will not go to 4 Oceans as previously stated, just because they got back to me quite late. I was able to record the podcast before clearing this up, actually. We cannot donate to 4 Ocean because they are registered as a business. But they have partnered up with several... God, I'm lacking the word. I'm just going to put it on the screen because my brain is farting all over the place today. We are going to raise funds for one of their partners who is called Ocean Conservancy, and they even have an app that I highly encourage you to download, because we are going to try as a group during this knit along for the next 6 months to pick garbage as well as knit for Clean Oceans, because knitting for Clean Oceans isn't going to clean any oceans. Or, you know, if you don't live along any coastline, you know, cleaning the forest, along the road, your garden, anything. And we are going to do a fun little twist on that for the knit along, actually. So you can't win any prizes by just picking garbage, but you can win some extra goodies if you want to do that. So I highly encourage you. I will, of course, include the information about that app in the description box below, but I highly encourage you to check out the links on Ocean Conservancy that I include below. Okay, so just a quick recap if you don't know who Ocean Conservancy is. They are a huge organization, that's the word, organization, that cleans oceans and beaches, and therefore also helps us prevent further development of the crisis, and help animal life and the future generations to take over a planet that is livable, because we want that. We will all do what we can, and that is basically what this knit along is for. So on Instagram, which is really the place to follow me, because that is where I update as fast as things happen. I will also update on Instagram, so for the first 24 hours, we raised as much money as on the picture here. And then for the for the 48 first hours, we raised this amount of money. And then for the first week, and then every week after that, I will always update on my stories, and I will also put that directly into my profile underneath highlights, which says fundraising, so you can always go into my profile and check that. If you still want to help support for Ocean, which I have done personally on several occasions, you can purchase things from their website. This is how they fund what they do. So they sell bracelets, garbage picking bags, gloves, bottles, stuff like that, so you can still support them by going over there and doing so in their web shop. Yes. I have quite a bit of an announcement this time. So I am going to Bergen Strikkefestival, Bergen Knitting Festival on the west coast of Norway, and I am so excited. Now, the wonderful people who are actually hosting this knitting festival has gifted me a weekend pass, and I will be covering this entire festival, well, as much as I can, because I'm a one-woman show, and making videos about it. And they've also not only gifted me a weekend pass, but they are gifting 2 of my viewers a day pass. So this is how we are going to do this. I am going to make sure that you follow me and Bergen Strikkefestival Knitting Festival on Instagram. And then, we are all linked down below, by the way. And then come back to this video and comment down below what your username is on Instagram. Make sure that I can see who you follow. And let me know what you would like to do your day at Bergen Strikkefestival, Bergen Knitting Festival. And that's it. Please only enter for this giveaway if you know that you're going anyway and have the opportunity to do so, because if you win this ticket and don't use it, well, someone else could have gone. So I just want to say I am super grateful to the people of this festival. I've said this to them as well, but I just want to put it out there that I am so grateful that I've been gifted this weekend pass, and that they're also gifting 2 of my lovely viewers a day pass. So that's exciting. I've never been to a knitting festival, so this is actually my first time, and if you see me there, please, please, please come and say hi and receive a hug, because I'm a hugger. I don't bite. Just love being social and meeting people who watch this podcast, because it's like I always say, if you don't give me feedback, it's just a monologue. So if you're going and you see me, please come up and say hi, take a selfie, you know, all that jazz. I really want that. So yeah, I'm so excited. And I have so many ideas, but yeah. So I don't know at this point all the stations that I'm going to be recording and stuff like that, but I am in the process of making a plan from day to day, and I'm also hoping to actually stay in Bergen for a week or a few more days than just a festival, because there are plenty things in Bergen that I would love to do and see, just because I just love that city. You will have heard me say this on numerous occasions. I love Bergen. Okay, so I did not mention this in the previous episode, just because I didn't have time to, but Helen of Giddy Yarns and myself, oh, this hair is just all over the place today. Helen of Giddy Yarns and myself had a knit along. I designed last year and this year a Shorties Club, well, Shorties collection, where I publish patterns for ankle socks knitted, and this year Helen teamed up with me to dye up yarns that complemented the sock pairs. So the sock pairs has names from wildflowers, and she, in collaboration with me, dyed up colorways that matched these. I have already picked the winner, and I have sent the winner in a Ravelry message for 5 patterns of my socks, which should be a, you know, great way to start the Nordic Stitches box of socks knit along, for example. So in the message to you, I'm not going to announce your name here, just because if you have Ravelry and you have participated, I'm going to assume that you will check your inbox. So as of now, you have received a Ravelry message saying that you have two options. You can either pick A, last year's Summer Shorties Club, that's 5 patterns, or you can choose 5 random patterns of my sock designs of your choosing. Okay, so since last, I've finished something. I did not show it to you. Neither of these things that I'm showing you today I showed you last time. So I've been on a finishing kick. I wanted to cast on the... In a previous episode, I showed you the swatch, the kofta I knit for myself, and ended up having to give to my friend Amelia over at Arctic Knitting Podcast and Arctic Yarns. In her previous episode that she posted, she actually wears it and includes a video clip of her just twirling with it. So if you want to see her wearing it, just check out this video after this podcast, of course. Just right click it and open in a new window or tab. I digress. I keep doing that. So last, I wanted to cast on a new one for me. But I also wanted to make sure that I had finished everything, that I had works in progresses, because having a lot of whips are just messing up my brain. So I've been finishing quite a bit of things. Among them are these socks. This is Giddy Yarns, Helen, that I just mentioned. And this is Hot Chocolate. Now, Helen is a self-striping yarn genius. She is absolutely brilliant, and I just love these. I'm gonna remove my sunglasses so I see what I'm doing. Check out these stripes. Are you kidding me with this colorway? So it's hot. It's hot chocolate. The white is just some Regia white yarn sock weight and 4-ply. So these were supposed to go into my Christmas box of socks that I have on storage that I talked about, again, previous episode. Look at these colors. That's the region. I mean, come on. But I do have enough for one more pair, so I'm gonna ask you right out. Would you keep this and knit another pair for the Christmas sock box? Yes or no? You can include that in your comment down below. I would love to know. I always knit 20 rounds of 2x2 rib, 16 times 4 stitches, and because I knit on DPNs, I always knit with a heel flap and gusset because that fits my foot the best, and 2mm needles. Yeah, I absolutely love how these came out, and like I said, I'm not sure I want to use these as Christmas socks because they are just too darn beautiful. Plus, it's not very Christmassy colors. I don't know why I instantly thought this needs to go. It's probably the hot chocolate winter Norway. Yeah. I'm done thinking out loud now. I'm gonna jump on over to the next vintage object. The sock blockers are from Patricia of P Fortune, and I love them. The second thing that I finished, I started on Amelia's birthday. I was there visiting her. You can check out this vlog from my visit to her. Not a very long vlog because, you know, haven't met in almost 2 years and all that, you know, not all that occupied by recording. Just occupied off, you know, spending time together. Anyway, I grabbed some of her hand-dyed yarn. This is the yarn that inspired me to dye the yarn that I showed you in the previous episode when I talked about the first yarn that I ever dyed. I grabbed several skeins actually from her stash of her hand-dyed because she remembered she hadn't gifted me a present for my birthday, so I just dived right in there and got some hand-dyed yarn from Arctic Yarns. And this is also her design. So not only did I cast on a pattern that she designed on her birthday, but I also used her yarn. So this is the Midnight Sun shawl. And it's not white, it's the lightest colorway in a blue fade, and I'm gonna see if I can show you that. I don't know if it shows or not, but It's got silver sparkle, and it is just the most gorgeous. It is super easy. You don't have to block these shawls. You just have to put them to wash, squeeze out the water, and leave them flat to dry. So it's stockinette here, slip stitch over garters here, and just garter here. And this is one of those types of designs where you decide the size of this portion, you decide the size of this portion, and the garter portion, which makes it super adaptable. It's very beginner friendly, and yeah, I can't say enough more wonderful things about this pattern or this yarn. Of course, I'm biased because, you know, I love her. No, I'm just kidding. I would say a lot of beautiful things about this regardless, but it became quite a big shawl, and I can, you know, throw it over my shoulders and just turn the camera around and show you. Right, that was the Midnight Sun Shawl by Amelia in her yarn. I spent about 2 weeks on that because, you know, there was quite a bit of time that I didn't knit on it. I finished it actually on my weekend trip to Hanningsved, which is this amazing place. I've had this place on my to-visit bucket list for 20 years, maybe even more. And it lived up to every bit of my expectations and so much more. Just a quick recap. I went there with my camera to make a vlog for the second YouTube channel where I vlog about Norway. There's no crafts in there if you're not interested, but right now those are most virtual visits with music added to them because I don't have a whole lot of, you know, fancy gear. So it's windy up here, so if you want to hear wind, this is the place. But I don't want that to infect your ear canals, so I just add music and just take you around for a walk and include information in the description box below the videos over there as well. So if you're interested to see beautiful places around Norway, you know, I'm taking you along with me. It's sort of like my travel journal. It won't be a travel journal forever. It will change a little course during this fall, just because fall and winter I don't get out as much. But I think that it will still be about Norway and things we say and, you know, people to, you know, everything Norway actually. But it will change just a little course for the season of fall and winter. And I was sitting there in a rorbu, which is basically just a tiny little cottage, which is perfect for me who wants to live tiny, in a tiny house actually, which I'm hoping to get back to later this year. But it's just this, the place just, so I cannot put into words how much I loved that weekend and this place. Saturday evening, I decided to finish the shawl. I put it aside, I had a drink, I had a shower, I put makeup on and clothes on and all that, and I went out to a bar. Decided to have a beer and just check out life. Hello! Where was I before the phone called? Right, so I was talking about my weekend in Hanningsved, where I just, you know, fiffed myself up a little, went out to a bar, and had a beer just to watch life, and it was amazing. I mean, going out alone to have a beer in a place you've never been is so cool. I mean, I need to do that more often. It turns out it was a pride party at that bar that night. It was so much fun. I met some Danish people, some Swedish people, some local people. It was just so much fun. And I had a flag on my cheek when I woke up the next morning. I remember everything. I wasn't that drunk. Just a little. I just really want to mention this because it was like when I walked into this bar, it wasn't a whole lot of people there. That, however, changed during the course of the night. But I walked into what I felt was stepping back in time. When you look around now, people are walking along the streets with their phones, just looking at their screens. They're sitting on cafes, they're sitting everywhere, just looking at their screens. They're not talking to each other, and they're just not really socializing. And I walked into this place, and people were sitting there playing cards and board games and just talking. One person was just sitting there, just, you know, moving his head to the beat of the music. And I was like, what is this place? Have I died and gone to heaven? I could see 2 phones, and they were on the tables all the time. They didn't touch it. So when I pulled out my phone to take a picture, I felt out of place. It was amazing. I will be going back to that place. They even have rooms for rent, so I might just go back there. But anyway, it was amazing. And it just reminded me of how important it is to put the freaking phone away and just be in the moment with your fellow humans, because that is what life is about. The social media are taking away so much social. I've digressed a whole lot. I will show you a work in progress right now. Okay, so a work in progress. Oh, and now we'll be back to what I bought myself for as a gift when I was in Henningsved, because that is relevant. I'm using some cotton yarns for this next project. You will have heard me talk about this before in the podcast, but I didn't bring it with me when I went to travel. So I'm using Mandarin Naturel, which is a yarn by Sonja's Garn. It is cotton, not mercerized. You don't want mercerized for what I'm doing. 2.25 millimeter double pointed needles. And this is the bag. If you watched this before the hacked and deleted drama in April and follow me on Instagram, you know that I've talked about this quite a while. So I crocheted a bag, just a regular rounded bottom, and double crochet chain, double crochet around. That's US terms. I made 2 bands just to pull close. So this is a washing net. 4 face pads. Yay! So this will be a gift, and I will make for myself as well. I'm making with seed stitch first, just for scrubby effect. But I will also make some with stockinette with garter edges, just for wiping. And they are so cute. I just cast on 16 stitches and knit seed stitch. No pattern required. Just used regular cotton yarn, cotton linen. But those are the yarns that are most recommended for facial wipes. Creates a whole lot of less garbage if you, like me, use it to remove makeup and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, and like I said, that will be a Christmas gift, and I will then go on to make to me and more people after that. I think that was it for... I don't want to show you the kofta that I was talking about that I cast on again, just because I have the... Ow. I just scratched my nose. Ugh. Just because I have this amount of rib on top here. So I've basically cast this on 3 times now, just because first the swatch that I ended up gifting to Amelia, biggest swatch in the world, and then I cast it on yesterday, and I was trying to increase on the first round, and nothing was right, and so I got up this morning, and it turns out I had cast on the wrong number of stitches. So this is the 3rd time, and as you know, 3rd time's a charm. So we're hoping this will be okay. Oh! I finished my brioche shawl. Just a second, I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, so to recap, if you haven't watched the previous episode, this is the first shawl I ever knit in my own handspun. I have used my own handspun before for a beanie in also a two-color brioche project that I did last summer, which didn't convince me. It was just a very easy pattern by Andrea Mary. But this pattern, however, has convinced me. This is just so awesome. I regret using a 3mm needle. It looks like it has a whole lot more drape to it than it actually does, and it didn't become as huge as I wanted it to. But it is non-superwash, and it just really keeps you nice and warm. This is a pattern by Mina Phillip, also known as the Knitting Expat through her podcast and designs. And it is a super beginner friendly pattern. She's also got a video to help you, get this started. And it is just the most, yeah, I'm knitting this again. Just bigger. The yarn is just pure white merino. I spun from pure white merino, and this other colorway here is from fiber that I bought from a Norwegian dyer. Her name is Marianne. She's known on the interwebs as Tante Ull, and the colorway is Antique Rose on merino and silk. Which reminds me that I have a few incoming goodies that I want to show you, except for the things that I bought, because someone is preparing for the fleece. Okay, so there will be a little bit of plastic crinkling here, just because I have it in plastic bags, but I will try to cut out as much of that as possible. I don't think I showed you this the last time. This is finished 3-ply Navajo. I only spin on a drop spindle. I really wish I had a wheel. This is, I think it's merino and silk blend. It is something forest, I think, by Louisa Spin City UK, and this is also a spindle from her. I love her spindles. I've actually gone in and made notches in mine, because I think most of her, if not all, comes without them. But since this is acrylic, you can easily use a sharp knife, being careful, of course, always, and just make that yourself. Makes it spin a little heavier, so much easier. This is what the fiber looks like before being spun up. I always take it into sections like this because it makes it so much easier, especially on a drop spindle, just having tiny sections of fiber to spin on. And I will... It is called Olive Tree. It's got nothing to do with forest. It's 70/30 merino and white silk, and it's 100 grams of fiber. I haven't washed and set the twist in this. Oh, I have washed and set the twist in this. And this is what it looks like. I feel like I'm starting to nail the Navajo ply. It's very funny to do. It's not very funny, haha, but it's very fun to, oh my god, this is so soft. I'm telling you, merino and silk, that is something. I'm waiting for some fiber that a friend is sending me, and I can't wait to show you. Which is a fiber that I've never spun with before, so I'm going to leave you with that teaser. And then I'm going to show you the fiber that I ordered especially for Tour de Fleece. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm going to try and do this as crinkle-free as possible. This is from Spin Jones on Etsy. You will have heard me talk about her before because I just love her fiber blends and colors. This is Butterfly. Can you handle the beauty that is that color? I wish this could be Touch a Vision because it is so soft and amazing. And this is just gonna spin up into the most amazingly beautiful yarn. Yeah. I don't know how much I will spin for Tour de Fleece, but I'm hoping to spin both of these packs because this is 100 grams and then I got another. I'm hoping to use both of them in a 2-color brioche shawl because apparently I'm all hooked on the brioche, so we shall see. She's based in the UK, so if you like spinning or want to try spinning, you really ought to check out her stuff because she's got so many goodies. So that was it for spinning and knitting and incoming goodies, but I also purchased something when I visited Svolvær. I don't usually buy myself things in the places that I visit, but since I've had this place on my visiting bucket list for 20 years, and I finally got to go there, and the place was so amazing, and the people were so amazing, and I made so many new friends, I really thought I needed something. And, anyway, I love this sheep so much. It just really made me smile when I saw it. Plus, I had a very nice conversation with the woman who owned the shop, so there's that. Yeah, guys, that was it for this episode. Probably a little here and there, but you know, take it or leave it. I'm gonna finish my coffee now. Enjoy one of the few days we're having of sun in the Arctic. I hope that if you are in an area where you have a suffocating heat wave, that you are staying safe and drinking a lot of water. And if you, like me, are in a place that is so cold that you think you're going to freeze to death, so the opposite side of the scale, I hope that you stay warm. Thank you so much for watching, and whoever you are, wherever you are, be kind, be good, spread love, acceptance, and embrace diversity, and just love your fellow human because they are beautiful. I will also finish by saying that I do stand with Ravelry. It's not up for debate in the discussion box below. And if you want to know more about that, just check out Ravelry and my posts and so many other amazing posts on Instagram. It is, sadly, in 2019, people are still having to fight for what is basic human rights. And I also think that it is important to know who you're following. So if you're not on Instagram, I can tell you that I myself have always been extremely actually passionate about human rights and animal rights. I am not straight, I'm bi. I am Sami descendant, so Sami people are Scandinavia's natives. I am extremely, what's the word? I'm extremely soulful, mindful. I'm not at all religious, though I have extremely much respect for those who are, as long as it doesn't hurt people. And I have always loved diversity, and this platform is therefore not all-inclusive, because it does not include people who, for some weird, messed up reason, do not think that all people are equal, because we are. That's not up for debate. Yeah, so whoever you are and wherever you are, as I always say, and this is why I say it, be kind and be good and spread love. And if you feel like unsubscribing after that, well, good riddance. And I am not going to shed a tear over that. I'm just going to embrace those of you who understand and accept and love. There is 7 billion people in this world, and there's only one world, and if we are going to keep fighting over it, it's never going to be a beautiful place to live for anybody. And I am not going to accept white supremacy and indulge in the comforts and not fight for those who still have to hang on by their nails to be seen and accepted in a society. So, yeah. That's just it for today. And That's what it sounds like when the hurtigrute boat is coming to town. Hurtigrute is coming to town. I'm gonna end this video now. I love you. Thank you for watching. Have a marvelous day. Oh. And that's what that looks like. And this is still on Zoom. Ooh. Ow, ow, ow. I can't believe I still haven't got this right. I have used my own handspun before,